Hi, Patrick from Combat Australia. I'm going to talk you through our Elite bow, which is also sometimes packaged as the Predator compound bow. I'm going to show you how to set this bow up from scratch. The one I'm doing today is a model that actually has got the quiver in the box and also the Deluxe kit. So there's our quiver. There's our Deluxe kit. There's our bow. Our string silencers have already been installed on this particular model. And as you can see, I'm holding a right-handed bow. And the reason I know I'm holding a right-handed bow is if I hold it so that the stabilizer hole is down the bottom of my hand grip, then, and I also look here to see where the arrow rest curve is in the riser, I can see that this one's supposed to be held with my left hand and the string is pulled with my right hand. So to install the bits and pieces, I'm going to lay it down on its left-hand side. This is a right-handed bow, so I'm just putting it down on its left-hand side, and I can start installing the pieces. So I'm now going to start installing all the accessories, the Deluxe accessories. I've got my stabilizer, I've got my D-loop string, I've got my wrist strap, my arrow rest, and my aiming device. I've also got my Peep Sight. So I've got my 3 arrows there, and in this part here, I've got my standard arrow rest and aiming device, which I'm not going to use today. I've got my cable slider. This also goes with the cable slider. Wrist strap, finger guard. So I'm going to use these 2 pieces. And I'm also going to use the Allen keys out of this, which I've already got open. There's 3 Allen keys, and I'm going to use the smallest Allen key.
Installing the bow, you need to make sure you can see the 2 grub screws. Open up your Allen key set, and it's the smallest one. Just undo it a touch. Slide this in. You screw it out so it's really only just biting, otherwise it won't go in perfectly. Install it with these 2 bits facing out. The angle you want to use is facing out a little bit. And this one here, you can just bend the strings over and under. So this is now giving yourself enough room to shoot it through. Next, I'm going to install my aiming device. Unscrew the 2 bolts from their current position. Line up your 2 holes with these 2. Doesn't really matter which one of these you use, depends on how far you're going to be shooting. And just with your fingers, you should be able to get them started. Tighten it with the Allen key. Please note, everything on your aiming device is adjustable. You can loosen up. There's a bolt in here, which gives you access. By undoing this, you can move this up and down. So make sure that's tight. By undoing this, You can move it left and right. You can also move each individual pin by undoing these. Personally, I like to have these pins spread out so that you can shoot further distances. As you can see, they're all spread out now. Next, open up the Peep Sight. You got a LED light in there, and you've also got your bolt for your arrow rest. We'll put on the LED light to finish off the sight. That simply screws in there nice and gently. Got to make sure the thread lines up. Just like so. Make sure the bottom is touching the aiming device, and then turn the top till the light comes on. Unturn this. Oh, there's already batteries in there. Light's off. Next, get your aiming device. Make sure it's facing the right way. You want to have the opening of the aiming device facing up. Again, with your fingers, tighten this bolt. And then you want this bolt roughly in the middle. With a different Allen key now. You also want to make sure that your sight and your arrow rest roughly parallel. Do that just by adjusting this to its correct position. If you got your arrow, you can make that run up there. You can measure the distance between this string and the distance between that string, and it should be the same. That means your arrow rests are all parallel with your string. So you should get a straight shot. Next, we're going to install the wrist strap. This is probably one of the hardest things to install, even though it's quite easy. With the Allen key that's already provided with the wrist strap, undo this first, the bolt, the nut that's already there. Pull this down just a touch, because you're going to make it the same distance. Thread this over the bow. I like to now put it in position so that it can't move, and you put this through the thread of your stabilizer. And hand tight is fine. Next, got to make sure this is nice and flat, and just feed it through. Until there's a small gap there, nice and tight for your wrist. Once you're happy with that, tighten these two bolts. You got this little bit of plastic, you can put that on the end and burn it if you like, so that it doesn't ever unravel. I don't have a lighter. Next, we're going to install the quiver. There is instructions with the quiver showing you how to assemble if you need to. Everything you need is in this little packet, except for screwdriver. Now put on this bit first. Doesn't matter which way, you can do it either. Go back to your arrow rest, the 2 holes that are there that you took the bolt out of. Now that's what the holes we're going to screw it into. You've got to make sure this orientation, the flat bevel bit here, lines up with this arrow rest correctly. Make sure that's pulled down so nothing's in the way. That's the way we want it. So that's the way I'm going to screw it down. Second bolt. Tighten that and this can't slide up.
So now that our elite bow is all set up, I'm going to talk you through how to adjust the draw weight and the draw length. And the first thing we'll do is the draw length. Now we measure our draw length by measuring our arm span fingertip to fingertip in inches and divide it by 2.5. And once we know that, we can adjust it on our compound bow. I am 6 foot, so my arm span or draw length will be 29.5 inches. On this bow, I round it down to 29 inches. So right now it's set to 31. And I can undo this. Move the one that says 29 to the hole. So now I'm going to adjust the draw weight. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of my quiver, just get that out of the way. The reason I want to do that is I don't want to lean on my aiming device, which is the most fragile part of the bow. Like a rifle, you want to keep putting any pressure on that to change your aiming device. Now we use the biggest Allen key to adjust the draw weight, and it's going to have Loctite on it the first time that you open the bow and that you do the adjustment. So the first time you do it, it's going to be very tricky. It's going to feel like it's almost going to break. And what we're going to do is we're going to lean that down. Best to have a table that's probably got a cloth or something so you don't scratch your bow. And I find pulling up is probably easiest, so I'm going to put it there and I'm going to now pull this up. And that was very hard, but now it should be much easier. Now we can adjust these to a total of 4 rotations. We don't have to do all 4, we can do anything in between. We can do half a rotation or 1 rotation. Whatever we do on this, we have to do on the other. So we have to make sure we count. So right now I'm at 1 rotation. Half a rotation. And by going back to there, I'm now at 1 rotation. Now remember, I just want to make sure I do the same on both. What I'm going to do is show you how to put on a peep sight without a bow press. So this is a cheap way of putting on this is a life hack for putting on your peep sight. So what we do is we make sure firstly that we've undone both of the main bolts a 4 full rotation to give us the weakest draw weight. That'll put less pressure on the string. And once we've done that, we just need 2 people. So I'm going to pull this back, and when I pull this back, someone else is going to slide this into this piece, which will be just here. They're going to slide it over there. And now we've got no tension on the string, so we can actually go ahead and split the string to put the peep sight in. From there to there, I'm going to go into the middle, which is about there, and then just a little bit further down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull apart the strings to have about half the string in both locations, and the peep sight is going to go like that. And then we're going to get our serving string, and we're going to wrap the serving string around both while it's loose.